Hey Hodies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Homemess Tom and thank you so much for clicking on today's video. Today we're going to be discussing the best of beauty of 2023. So just some qualifiers before we get too far. These are the best beauty products that I tried for the first time this year. Not only do I have beauty, I have some other stuff on the other side of the beauty, but we're going to start with the beauty stuff. So if you're just here for the beauty stuff, you can stay for that. But I also have some other recommendations, other favorites that didn't really get to go into makeup videos because they weren't makeup. So if you want to see those, you can hang out. But first, I have to be a little bit gushy because this is, I think, the last time I'm going to be doing one of these sitting at my vanity kind of videos before the end of the year. And I have a couple things I would like to say. But if you are new to me and you are just interested in the makeup, I'll leave a timestamp down below for you. So just click that timestamp and then you will miss all of the mushy gushy stuff. Hodies, hi. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. This year has been a really wild year. A lot of great things have been happening to me here on YouTube. I have grown so much and I didn't quite hit my goal of 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. I still have grown a lot and I have had so many more of you subscribe and I've had so many of you maintain. I see so many of you in the comment section that have been commenting on my videos since like no one was watching my videos. And I just need to really say thank you so much for watching, commenting, sharing. I really appreciate it. I got to go on a influencer trip. It's sort of, I went to a holiday party, but I got invited. So that was pretty cool. And, I got invited because people watch my channel and people care about me. But also I became best friends with Kaki this year, which is pretty crazy that like I can call Kaki my best friend. Kaki is coming to visit me at the end of this week and I can't wait. That's really cool. I live with my best friend, which in my 20s would have been the scariest thing I could have ever done. Not only did they move in with me, their child moved in with me, and that has been quite the experience. Most of all, it has been the most fulfilling experience of my life. So I've had a lot of great stuff happening to me personally. Just to finish off this little love situation, I really appreciate it. As someone who is like very queer and in this makeup space and queer in a different way than just gay, for all of you to be following me and just like hanging out with me and getting it and being open to getting it, I can't say more that I appreciate that because I know a lot of you fall into the demographic that a lot of young people have given up on, but I know that you are all here willing to learn and understand and be with someone like me and love someone like me. And I just really appreciate that. Sometimes it's really hard to find in the world, and for people like you to find me and stick around, and that just means a real lot to me. Being queer in real life is scary enough, but being queer on the internet, when people start finding you, can be tough. It can be tough. I've gotten some comments this year that weren't so nice. The overwhelming majority have been wonderful. I can't believe that I can call some people at the end of this year my friend who I never thought in a million years would know who I am at the beginning of this year. It's just bananas to me. And I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, whatever holidays you celebrate, if you celebrate any of them. And if you don't celebrate any of the holidays, I hope you're just having a good December. If you're a retail worker, I pray for you. Thank you so much for making this year really special for me on YouTube. So we'll do it again. We're going to start all over again next year. I just also want to say, if you're one of my regular watchers, this is my second to last video of the year. There will be my declutter at the end of the year. I don't really know when I'm going to post that, but the declutter will be my final video of 2024. And then I will see you at the beginning of next year, but I'm going to take that first week of January off to give myself a little bit of breather. It's been a marathon year for me as far as how much time I've committed to this, and so I think I deserve a little bit of break. But what's really important is that when I do come back, please just watch that video, even if you're not interested in it. That will just be very helpful to me getting back into the algorithm's favor. I'm so sorry that I have to ask for that. That sucks. I hate that, but I'm going to do my best. And I also, if all things go the way I think they're going to go, you'll want to click on that video. So keep your eyes peeled. Watch this space. Let's get into the favorites. So I went through the drawers and I pulled out things that I think I tried this year. I pulled out one thing that I absolutely tried last year, but it became a hero product this year, and I think it's worth noting that. I have everything laid out kind of in the order that I do my face, so let's just start. I'm going to talk about some Victoria Beckham products. If you know, I started testing Victoria Beckham last year in November. I didn't post my video about Victoria Beckham until March, so I had tested the products for 4 months behind the scenes, and I wasn't talking about them actively on my channel, and maybe I have already purchased the next full brand review, and it will be interesting. I haven't started trying it yet, so like watch this space in a few months to see what I'm testing behind the scenes. Patrons will always get to know in real time, so you can join Patreon if you want to. But that wasn't really a plug. It is a plug. You know, I'm trying to not be someone who's like pluggy, but also be a content creator who's successful. It's like very hard. Just wanted to clarify, you're going to see Victoria Beckham on this year's list because I couldn't talk about them last year because I was secretly trying them. So the Victoria Beckham Cell Rejuvenating Priming Moisturizer, if you know, you know. Right off the bat, very expensive product. I love it and I will buy it again. I have the shade Golden here in my hands. I like the original one. I finished the original one. I bought this this summer, this golden one, because I was like, I want to be a glowing golden goddess girly. And then I wore cool tones all summer. Obviously, really does a good job priming the face. It's moisturizing, but it's not like too thick that things don't want to go over top of it. But I also feel like it just plumps your face a little bit, plumps your skin, just gets it ready. And then I find that it gives me a slight blurring effect and it makes my skin look really good. In fact, the golden one in the summertime, I would wear just like as a complexion product. It doesn't really have coverage, but it just makes my skin look really good. And obviously it has a little bit of that bronzing effect. Oh my God, I'm gonna swatch for you. I've been swatching a lot. Okay, and you're about to see a declutter where I swatch everything. So there it is. I also see swatching some other stuff too. See that sheen? It's delicious. With the golden one, some people use this as like a debronzy alternative or something to make their foundation deeper. It doesn't do that for me. And I'm not saying that the other people are lying, but it doesn't do that for me. If I wasn't a content creator, like if I were to quit tomorrow and just continue to be a makeup consumer, I would get rid of all of my other primers right now. And I would only buy the Victoria Beckham Priming Moisturizer as my primer because I really, really love it. And I mean that. I'm not buying the original primer for some time. I have primers that I can use up. I'm going to use them up. I'm going to be responsible, but I don't like it. I don't like being responsible, but I am. I can pan a primer. I can't pan a lot of things, but a primer, I can pan. So once I use up that Bobbi Brown, going right back to this. Just so gorgeous. So the next step in my routine would have been a foundation. I guess I didn't try any foundations this year that I felt noteworthy. I felt like a lot of the foundations I tried this year were a bust. So I just continued loving my Surratt Dewdrop foundation. And I like the Surreal Skin foundation, but I don't love it enough to call it a favorite. And then everything else is just fine. But let's move on to concealer. Speaking of Dewdrop, Surratt sent me their new Surratt Dewdrop concealer in PR this year, which was very kind of them. And obviously I received them for free, so that's one thing to note. So my perception of them is skewed, but I would absolutely buy this again. I'm not really like wowed by concealer ever, and just a spoiler alert, I'm not going to talk about the Givenchy concealer because I don't think it's actually a very good under eye concealer for me. Have been really lovely. Now these are interesting because when you swatch them, they don't look like they swatch really well. I have the shades 1 and the shade 2. I do believe that shade 3 is my right shade, but I don't have that one. And I can make these two work until I empty them, and then I'll just probably buy 3. So shade 1's on top and shade 2 is on the bottom. Shade 2 is a little bit yellow, a little bit yellow for me. And so what I do is I kind of mix them together to make a little bit of a brightening concealer. You know why I love this? And like these kind of look like chalky swatches, and I will give you that. But when you use them as concealer, they look beautiful and they are seamless on the skin. They have a surprising amount of coverage for how thin they are, and I appreciate that. And they're actually more coverage than I typically like in a concealer, but that just means I need to use even less of it to get the kind of conceal that I want. But these are so forgiving on the under eyes. Now, I don't think any concealer I've ever tried has been absolutely crease proof, so I don't want to say that they are, but these have performed the best under my eyes, and I really, really appreciate that about them. It's kind of like with the Victoria Beckham primer. At this juncture, of all the makeup I've ever tried in my history, if I committed to one concealer, it would be the Dewdrop concealer, because it is just really, really great. I will say, if you are someone who loves the Dewdrop foundation and you haven't bought the concealers, they're a lot more coverage. I feel like there was like a little bit of a learning curve, because they're like a lot more coverage than the Dewdrop foundation. The Dewdrop foundation has like very little coverage, and these are like, we're here. Such a giving god, me. Just swatching things for you. Like it's my job. Next up in my routine, I would contour. And if you are new here, I did a cream contour video earlier in the year, and I kept 2 of those cream contours. I don't have any powder contours. So these are both from that video. So if you've seen the video, you'll probably know what they are. But if you haven't and you want to see a lot of other alternatives, you can go see that. Even though I didn't keep all of them, because why would I need 10 cream contours? I would say the top 5 are all worth buying if you find something about them that you think is different and best for you. I just like really want to shout out that Essence Baby, like the bronze, the bronzer, but it's like a cool tone bronze. Oh, that is a great contour. It smells like watermelon, but if you are looking for a $4 contour, I think that's how much it cost. Recommend. But let's get into the 2 that I have. You're not going to see this on anyone else's list, because I think I might be like one of several people who bought this product, and it is the Victoria Beckham a contour stylist, and I have it in the shade Travertine. There's that for you. Cool. People don't like this because it has a very little amount of product, and I don't begrudge you that. It does have a very little amount of product in it. God, you're gonna hear this in my declutter too, because I've already been filming my declutter video for my whole collection. So sorry if you end up watching that too. Burberry made a product like this years ago, and I loved it. It was my first contouring product, was this contour pen from Burberry. And this is that. This just is it. And so I have, like, I feel nostalgic for this product because it's new, and it replaced that because Burberry doesn't make that product anymore. And oh God, I'm so glad that Victoria was like, I like that, let's make it again. Like, I just know in my brain that was like the pitch that Victoria made was like, no, we like need just, let's hold on. I'll tell you what, you want to hear what Victoria said? No, it's just absolutely unacceptable that Burberry does not make my favorite contour anymore. So what we are going to do, fam, she says fam, she's up with the times. What we're going to do is make it again, but for us, but for me, because no one, but for me, because no one else wants it, just me, but we're going to do it. Hold on to your knickers, girls! We're making a contour stylist. But I love this product. It's not my everyday contour, and we're going to talk about my everyday contour in a second. Whenever you're doing like light coverage, or you're just like on the go and you don't want to, like, you're just like, you have 10 seconds to put on your face, 10 seconds, 10 minutes. This is going to be a really easy product because it doesn't pick up foundation. It glides right on top of whatever else you're blending on top of. You can use your finger, you can use a sponge, you could use a brush, you use anything to blend it out. And it's so seamless when it blends out. It's like, you don't have to do any work to blend it out. It blends out beautifully. I just think it's like a perfect on-the-go kind of product. So that's why I really love it. But I'm not going to sit here and recommend this product to someone who's really into contouring. It's not for you. It's for someone who's either just getting into contouring or someone who likes to have a contour but doesn't like to work too hard at it. And sometimes I'm that person. But also in the contour category, I have from Ritual de Fille the Inner Glow Cream Pigment in the shade Intuition, which obviously is a lot different than the Victoria Beckham one. This is a true gray contour with some rosiness in it and a little bit of brown, but very different. But this really works as a gray contour for me, and that is most of the time my preference for a contour shade. This can be built up, but also can be very, very subtle. I've been using this angle brush from BK Beauty, and it's been like my favorite way to apply this. It's seamless. I never get that dirt look on my face. Now, just to be clear, if you happen to have a different skin tone than me, this isn't a product that is designed for contour. It is a product that has a shade that happens to work as a contour for me. Like if you have like very deep skin, this wouldn't be something I would recommend for you. Obviously, this is like for all of my fair skin friends looking for a gray cream contour. This is where it's at. And I don't always love Ritual de Fille's formulas. I like Ritual de Fille as a brand, but I don't always love their formulas. But the Inner Glow Cream Pigment Pigment is one of their best formulas. And so I highly recommend this if you have been on the hunt for something like this, because this is the one. Next up, I would bronze if I was going to be using bronzer that day. I have two, and one I'm not going to swatch for you because it doesn't really swatch. The first one I would like to talk about is from Phytosurgeons. It is their Spectral Sunlight Cream Bronzer, and this is in the shade Too Rosy Daybreak. Now, if you missed it, I did a detailed review of this formula and I swatched it compared to all of my contours, and I had all of 10 of the contours in that video, and I swatched it against all of the bronzers I had at that time. So if you want to check that out, you can check it out to learn a lot more about this. Oh God, I'm going to be here forever. What Phytosurgeons did that other brands don't is that they really got into the nuance of them. So every depth level has two different undertones. There's a more yellow one and a more rosy one. And this light rosy shade looks so natural on my skin. It's literally almost undetectable. But if I don't have it on, I notice you can tell it's like what your skin would actually do with a bronzer. Boy, is it just the most beautiful thing. Now, the reason I'm not swatching it is because this formula is a little bit strange. It's like a balm that kind of hardens after every time you use it. And then whenever you swipe your brush in there, it picks up the product. But they highly recommend that you don't swatch with your fingers. Now, in that original video, the product was brand new and it was still creamier then. Now, I don't have any problems using this now. It's just the formula is very unique and interesting. So it does take some getting used to, but I think it's well worth the payoff, just because of the shades they have, and they go very deep and also very, very fair because this is the lightest one. And what's great about this is there's no orange in it. Someone with my skin tone, the second that orange finds its way into a bronzer, that's the color it's going to be on my cheek. So it adds this beautiful natural warmth to the skin. And Phytosurgeons really did that, and I think we should just all applaud them. For my other bronzer, no, this is actually not something that I purchased. This was gifted to me by my friend, Majestic Beast Beauty, also known as Nicole. Nicole sent this to me in some friend mail, and it was actually, she sent it to me, and I didn't know she was sending it to me. She sent me something else in that package, and I'm not sure which thing she sent me, because obviously this became the star of the show, and it is the Gucci bronzer. And I have the shade 1. It's the Poudre de Beauté, and kind of the same thing. As far as the shade, it's a very nuanced bronzer shade, which Gucci sometimes gets right. Like their lipsticks, they're really good lipsticks. And it's just a skosh different from my skin tone, and that's why it works. It also is a pretty blurring formula, and I was not expecting to like this because my relationship with Gucci products has been hit or miss. There's no in between. I either love a Gucci product or I hate a Gucci product, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this. I have not been able to pop mine out. I think mine's glued in. I've tried a couple times. However, if you live internationally, they sell refills for this. 1, why not in America? And 2, if you're gonna make this a forever compact, like if you're, make it metal. Make it metal, and maybe have 2 options. You have the money, you're Gucci. Make like a forever compact that we can refill, which is like what I want, because this is it's already gorgeous. But like if it was metal and like heavy, like whoop. And also like we don't need it. You can keep it. You just literally can keep it. But it's a very, very beautiful bronzer. Very beautiful formula. Stunning, gorgeous. My favorite powder bronzer I have ever used, and I think that is the truth. What I'm about to tell you is going to make a lot of sense when you see my declutter, but I guess I didn't realize that this was a problem until this year. I acquired a lot of blushes, and blush I think is the biggest category I have here to show you. Let's start with the obvious. I tried a couple new Phytosurgeons shades this year of their blushes. I have the shade Smolder, like I have that shade. That was my first shade I bought, and I bought that at the beginning of 2022. And then through friend mail and when I purchased, I got 3 new ones this year. Now, technically this shade, which is the shade Condensate, which is the holy grail blush for anyone who has a fair, cool skin tone. Now, I'm gonna show it to you and you're gonna go, not that, but I promise. So yeah, it's like this weird gray shade in the pan, but then you get it on your cheek, and I'm gonna blend out one side and keep one side pigmented. It turns into this, like, that's the color I would flush. Now, even on my hand, it doesn't look the same. When I swear when you put it on your face, it doesn't have this like gray cool tone effect to it. Like, it's still a cool toned blush, but it's like very special. It's a very, very special shade of blush. I've never used a shade of blush like this before, but if there was any shade that I was like, I was absolutely obsessed with it, it's Condensate. In fact, I said if this would be the one blush shade I would keep if I could only keep one blush. Now, I've said this many times, so you know, but Phytosurgeon Skin Spark blushes are my favorite blush formula, favorite cream blush formula, like by far. It is my favorite. I love it. It's so good. But my friend Ananda, who is Medium Olive on Instagram, in friend mail sent me 2 shades that she wasn't using anymore. Now, I think she sent me more shades. I kept 2 of them, one of them being Evaporate. And these are all from Phytosurgeon's Toasted blush line. So if you go on their website and you look up the blushes, the Skin Spark blushes, the Toasted blushes, like I could say all of them are the most nuanced shades. I'm gonna go back and forth and let's see what I did there. So that's what it looks blended out on the skin. So it's like this peachy blush with a little bit of like, what's going on in there? And I feel like that's what all the Toasted blushes are. It's like, now what is going on in here? Because it's like, you could just have a peach blush, but you could have that too. Which like, what is that? What did they do? It's like, it has a little bit of brown in it. Ooh, they're so delicious. And then the last one I have is the shade Exothermic, which this one is probably of the ones I got to try. The one that I was like, oh, so I did get to try Sublimate too, which was like a berry shade. I'm not big into berry tones. I'll wear them sometimes, but I don't need to have a berry tone blush. So there's that. And it's kind of like if you have a deeper complexion, I would say that this is probably going to be like your version of Condensate, but it's still really pretty on my skin too. It gives a little bit of a berry vibe, but again, it has that what's going on? It's like, what did Phytosurgeons do to that color to make it look like that? I just don't understand, but I'm obsessed with all of them. I would say that Condensate was probably the blush I wore the most this year. And that's saying a lot considering I'm about to show you so many more blushes because I got so many this year. Let's... Do you hear that? Okay. That was weird. Next up, let's talk about Bestie. Let's talk about Kaki's collection that she did with Finding Ferdinand, The Summer Abroad blushes. Now, these are only 2, and I'm being honest, I can't say that all 6 of them were blushes that I used all the time, but 2 of them were, and those shades were Latte and Olay. I'm into this kind of like, why even bother blush? Like that. And I don't mean that as a rude thing. Like sometimes you just need to throw on a blush and you're like, that's gonna work. And these are both that for me. So this is Latte and this is Olay. Now this collection I think is long gone. There was a restock. If you go to Finding Ferdinand's website, you can put in like a hex code of a shade. And I think at some point they're gonna release these. At least I've heard Kaki say that. So we'll see. And this formula is really cool. Finding Ferdinand's blush formula is like, and I'm gonna steal Bella Cabell makeup, I believe, on Instagram. If I got it wrong, it will be right in the lower third that you see. She called them like a dry oil, and that's really what they are. So you put them on and they're kind of like wet, like wetter than a cream. And in the pot, sometimes they'll like firm up, like cool down a bit, like, and then they'll seem like a balm sort of. And then immediately when you put your finger on it, it like melts again. It's a pretty wild formula. But do you see how these are like, why even bother blushes? But they just make your skin look really good. And my favorite way to wear them is as a combo. I'll put Latte like all over the cheek, just kind of like, and then I will keep Olay closer to the back of my cheek. It's beautiful. And I really, really enjoyed those 2 shades from Kaki's collection. We love Bestie. We love Bestie. Bestie, Bestie, Bestie. Whoa, 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 whoa. Where do we go from here? Let's see. What is that noise? Okay, moving on. From Surratt. Surratt sent me this in PR this year. I'm gonna have to swatch it, but this is their Artistique blush in the liquid formula. Now, it doesn't look like this when you buy it. It has a sponge applicator, which I hate. And I pulled it off. After I was done testing it, I pulled it off. So what I normally do is I squirt some out into a mixing palette. And the first time I tried this shade of this blush, I was like, is anything happening? And kind of like with the Finding Ferdinand formula, it's like just a little bit of something. And this is the shade Cantaloupe. I don't know if I said that already. I also have Barbapapa, but I don't like that one as much as I like this one because it's like just a watercolor flush to your cheek. It's like there's like kind of no base pigment to it. It's just kind of like, what's going on? Like sometimes I love a cheek. Like I love a cheek. But sometimes I don't want my cheek to steal the thunder of what's going on my eyes or my lips. And this is the kind of formula that's really good for that. It's so sheeny. You probably don't need a highlight. I, of course, still add a highlight, but like, man, To me, that's just good stuff. That's good stuff. Of course, if you like a strong blush, I'm not recommending this to you. But if you ever wear blush and you're like, ugh, like, I don't know. This is the kind of formula where you're like, that's the good stuff. I gave my friend, I had the shade Classique as well, which is this beautiful, deep, warm pink. And it like just is my shade of blush. And it's like her favorite blush formula. She loves a liquid blush. Shouts out to Kristen. She takes all of my pink blushes because she loves pink blush. I love some pink blushes because we're about to jump into one. Let's just jump into that pink blush that I'm thinking of right now. If you would have told me at the beginning of this year that I would have not one, but another Charlotte Tilbury product on here, and what's this one? This is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk Matte Beauty Blush Wand in the shade Pillow Talk. And it is one of those things in the squeezy tube with the sponge applicator. But what Charlotte did here is created a shade so cool. And I mean, like, it's a cool shade, not like cool tone. I do think it is kind of cool tone, but again, it's a blush without what's going on there. Like, and I like that, like, Charlotte did that. Like, what's going on? It's pink, but I feel like it has a lot of gray to it, and maybe like a little bit of pink. I don't know. If Pillow Talk was always this color, I would understand. Pillow Talk is not always this color. It's always like this warm pink, and it's never the same warm pink, and it's never universal. But I've heard from even people with deeper skin tones. My friend Amira, we were talking about this whenever we were at the holiday party. We talked about how it worked. And me and Amira do not have the same skin tone at all, but we both talked about how much we love it. And this formula is awesome. It stays on your cheek all day. And it is matte, but I do a lot of glowy complexion, and it looks really glowy if I have everything else glowy on the skin. But as you can see, it's fully set. It's matte. Like, shut up. It's like one of the two applications of that spongy tip that I'm okay with. And she really did that. You know, it was like the kind of thing that she started when it came to that sponge tip applicator. So I'll give it to Char. She did that. Char was in that boardroom and she was like, darling, 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 what we're going to do today, what we're going to do is we're going to make it matte, which is actually really surprising because I remember whenever this got announced, she had just released the matte Eyes to Mesmerize potted cream shadow, and that went horrible. And I was like, these are going to be horrible. And then I heard everyone say that they loved it. And I bought this in October, and I've been loving it ever since. But I held out because that product I think was like a spring or summer launch. I was like, not for me, not for me. And then I think, you know, Kaki didn't bully me into it, but she kind of bullied me. What? Do you keep hearing something in the background? Like, what is that? What is that sound? Oh my God. This is another gift from my friend Ananda. She sent this to me, and it is a Chanel blush. It's long discontinued, but again, I tried it for the first time this year. This is the Chanel blush in the shade 608 Ombre. I think you can still buy it on the black market. The black market being resale websites, so like Mercari. And look at that. Now, a lot of you would look at that shade and be like, Tom, that is simply not a blush shade. And I'm gonna say, you're wrong. Now, when Ananda sent it to me, she was like, you can use this as a contour. And I said, no, no, no. No, I'll use that on my cheek. I'll use that on the high points of my cheek. It's this beautiful, it's just beige. It's a beautiful beige, very like 90s blush, because like in the 90s there wasn't like a lot of heavy blush. I love that kind of stuff. Like I love that kind of stuff. I love it. Like, it's so great. That's mine. Probably not yours. You probably can't get it. I am giving up the ghost. Giving up the ghost on this plastic thing, though. I think I'm okay with that. Ananda must keep her makeup in pristine condition because those plastic things, the extra brushes, often get thrown away. Speaking of Chanel blushes, there was one that I was personally victimized by this year. Kaki is like an aficionado of Chanel product, and she did this video, and like I literally in the beginning of this video, Kaki was like, "This video is for me. I just want to play with some Chanel products," and she was either trying for the first time or playing around with relatively early on when the Equinox de Chanel, which was their fall release, when that came out, she was putting things on her face. And she took this blush and she swiped it on her face. Now, she was talking about the blush. She said she liked it. And I was like, whatever, it's blush, whatever, I'm sure. Kaki put it on her face, and she was actually completely unsure that that blush worked for her. But I saw her put it on her face, and I said, that is the most beautiful blush I've ever seen, and I need to buy it. Waited till the end of my workday. I was watching that video at the beginning of my workday, which is like 6:30 a.m. No, I start at 6 a.m. I know when I start. It's fine. Don't worry about me. And I was like, I'll wait till the end of the day. wouldn't you know, by the end of the day, I could not find it on any website but bloomingdales.com. And I went to bloomingdales.com and I found it there and it was like low stock, and I added it to my cart and it said there was no stock. And you know what I did? I just kept adding it to cart, adding it to cart, adding it to cart, adding it to cart, adding it to cart until it let me get to the checkout page. And then when I tried to check out, it said, item is no longer in stock. And guess what? I just kept hitting checkout, checkout, checkout until it let me. And then I got a confirmation email and I was like, watch me never get this blush. Even though they give me a confirmation email, it came. I have it. This is the Chanel Toussaint d'Equinoxe in the beige rose et mauve shade. And this is it. And it's, so, you know, I talked about condensate having the what's going on. This is like the powder version of condensate. This is like a little bit deeper and I think reads more cool toned on the cheek. It's also very similar to the Pillow Talk shade, but like that's my favorite blush shade. That's my favorite blush shade. Not like the, you know, the Pillow Talk, condensate, and this shade, like they're all the they're like, it's like, what is that? What is that mauve? What is that? Because if you would have said that I would have bought a mauve blush at the beginning of the year, I would have been like, what are you talking about? And I don't even know that, like, is that mauve? Because that's not what I think of mauve. Whenever I think of mauve, I don't think of that. Because this is, like, admittedly cool tone. But I always think of, like, warm tones when I think of mauve. Maybe I just don't know what colors are. That's very possible. It's not a color channel. It's a makeup channel, okay? And I just need us all to get that straight. It is that and not the other thing. But this blush is incredibly beautiful. And the formula is really, really good, but it's really the color that I think is the most phenomenal part. And obviously, you know, Chanel compact. Well, it's like Chanel's compacts are not that great. They're fine, but like, you know, branding could be like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, I have a Chanel compact. Also, like, why am I the worst at taking like the stickers off of mirrors? Because I really, really am.
Barba Papa. Barba Papa.
What is that?
Barba Papa.
No!
Barba Papa. Barba Papa.
We need to talk about Barba Papa. We need to talk about Barba Papa. If you're new here, you don't know. Let me tell you about Barba Papa. Let me wipe off my hands so I can show you. Barba Papa. Barba Papa. Barba Papa is from, this is from Surratt. It's their Artistique blush and it's the shade Barba Papa. Barba Papa. And I literally don't know what happened. I just checked all of my footage for some reason when I talk about Barba Papa, which I have been literally building up this whole blush section to talk about. Like, I couldn't tell you what that means, why that's going on. All I know is that that's unfortunate for me in this video, and it better not be in any of the other footage. I did scan through the rest of my footage. I don't think it's gonna happen again, and hopefully I can just edit around it if it did. Put on a highlight, you know, like if there's a highlight to be put on, I'll put it on, right? Because it's just a step highlight, but you wouldn't need it because, like, look at how glowy that is. It is my favorite shade of blush. Now, I know I just said that about the the last 7 shades of blush I've shown you, but this one stole my heart. I said it weird one time. Barba Papa, tu es Barba Papa, je suis Barba Papa. And then I also have Barba Papa merch because that was how often I said it. And it's just like Barba Papa. And the fact that it's cotton candy, but the actual French to English translation is Daddy's Beard, that's so funny. There's also Daddy's Beard merch down below if you want to check it out. They're very fun, but Barba Papa really stole my heart. And let me just talk about the formula a little bit because that's what we're doing here. The Surratt powder blushes, the Artistique blushes, it's like made with a special slurry, whatever. Don't worry about that. What I need to tell you is that they are the easiest blushes to apply. They look so natural on the skin. And like, they apply like a cream. They kind of look almost like a cream. Like, obviously don't have like the wetness of a cream, but like they just, the way they sit on your skin, again, it's very similar. Like, you can definitely build these up a lot more than you can build up the liquid ones from Surratt, but like they just do it. They just look so good. Like, it's like they're no fuss blushes. It's like you throw that on your cheek and it's gonna look good. And Barba Papa is the best version of that. Now, their other blushes are really good, and they have a lot of nuanced shades, and they have shades that are for deeper skin tones than what I have, because I had Classique and I had this other orange blush shade that would probably look very, very beautiful on a deep skin tone. Wasn't for me, but it was really, really beautiful. Barba Papa, star of the show. I think a lot of you have bought Barba Papa on my recommendation, and I won't stop. Won't stop, can't stop, won't stop. Barba Papa queen of everything. I have two highlighters to talk about today, and they're both kind of similar in the way that they look, but they're not similar in their formulas at all. And I also, even though I've been talking about how I will always apply a highlight, which I will, I haven't been interested in exploring a lot of highlights. So one is a repeat from last year, and it wasn't in my favorites last year, but I wanted to talk about it because I've really come around to it. It is the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk, what is this called? Hollywood Beauty Light Wand, and I have the shade Spotlight, which is the one that TikTok loves. So there's that, and I'm just going to blend it in. And what I have been really loving, look at that. It's so pretty. I hate that it's so pretty. I hate that I love it because I fought it so long. But if you love a glowy cheek, it's not it's really shiny on my hand right now. It's a thicker swatch, but what I've been doing with it after I apply my foundation, but before I powder or anything, I'll take it and I will just kind of apply it from here down to here and blend it out. And then I will powder my face, and then I will, not over top of the highlight, but then I'll powder my face and put all of my powder products, contour, all of that stuff here. It just gives me a really glowy cheek. It's really beautiful. It's I just kind of underpaint. I don't put it under my foundation. I put it over my foundation, but under everything else. It's just really pretty. I took it on trips with me because it was really easy to take with me on trips. It was really reliable to take on trips. It's really, really beautiful. And I hate to say this too, when I finish it, if nothing else has come along that has satisfied this need for me, I will buy it again. It'll take me forever to get through this. Those squeezy products are a little bit, you just have no idea what's going on there until you get to the point where it's really squeezed up, but then you still have more product. And it will last me a really long time. But the other one was sent to me in PR by Surratt, and it's their Torche Lumière. And I have the shade Diamante. And I actually did not like this at first, so I'm going to try to get it close up. There are shimmer particles in this product, and it has the same kind of champagne. It's a little more white as opposed to the gold champagne of the Charlotte Tilbury, but it's really, really pretty. And I think at first when I put it on, I was a little bit turned off by the shimmer particles in it, because it's it doesn't feel very elegant. It doesn't actually even feel very Surratt for them to do that. But then you put it on your cheek. It's gorgeous, glowing, stunning, amazing. It is what I have on my cheeks today. And I don't want to promise that the glitter is not going to get caught in fine lines and things. It doesn't really do that to me, because I don't want to say that it's 100% mature skin friendly, because I have maturing skin and I don't have the most maturing skin. We're getting into it, but it's not that far along. But I just love this glow. Very glow from within kind of. And you could build it up too. We could throw some more on. And you could I could do the same thing that I did with the Charlotte Tilbury, use it a little bit before I apply anything, and then also tap it on top, tap it on top of powder. It works either way. I wouldn't drag this on my skin. I wouldn't say that it's emollient enough to do that, but because it's not emollient enough to do that, I find that it sticks around. Sometimes Surratt packaging is really chintzy. This isn't, and I don't know why this gets the distinction of being in a very, very nice packaging and some of their other stuff doesn't. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. I did a Surratt brand review. You can go look at it. You can get into the nitty gritty of all of the nonsense that comes with Surratt packaging, because there's some nonsense going on with that packaging. So check that video out if you want to learn more about Surratt. I like a lot of Surratt products, but not all of them could be my fave, Oh no, this video is going to be so long. Oh, and I still have to edit today. We'll start with the eyeshadow primer that I tried for the first time this year and I've really liked. It's the NARS Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base. It's a really great eyeshadow base. Really can't swatch it for you. Just know that it's really, really great. And it works really, really well. It's a lot of people's favorite. And I would say it's my favorite too. I feel like I have a lot of success with eyeshadow primers. I haven't found them to be too fussy, but I'm wondering if that's because I have oily eyelids, and something that's a little stiffer might work on my eyelids, where a stiffer eyeshadow base might not work for someone who has dry eyelids. So anyway, I really, really like it. It comes out white, but it's pretty translucent. I don't feel like it makes my skin look white, but I have very fair skin, and I don't want to promise anyone who has a very deep complexion that this isn't going to look white on you. It is sheer, sheers out, kind of like a lotion, just a regular lotion that doesn't have SPF in it. It just kind of rubs into the skin and goes away. At least in my experience, that's been my experience, is that it just kind of goes away. We'll probably rebuy this when it's gone. So we're at eyeshadow. And if you're new here, I think there's going to be important context for the eyeshadows you're about to see. Is my preferences. I'm not an eyeshadow palette girly pop. Like, that just isn't my journey. I use them sometimes, but what I have settled into this year is using some matte shadows from like very specific all matte palettes and then picking a special shade to put on top of it. That's the look. Now, sometimes I used an eyeshadow palette today. This is new to me. Ananda, the girl who keeps on giving, sent me 2 Olivia Palermo eyeshadow palettes. This is what I have on my lids today. This is the colorway Soiree. It's pretty. This is a bit of a unique eyeshadow look that I'm doing today, but what you're about to see is going to reflect what I just told you. So I think that's important context. But one eyeshadow palette I picked up this year was a palette. I bought it because I bought this makeup brand's first eyeshadow palette and I really loved it. And I was like, I'll probably love that. And I actually bought this on the secondhand market. I bought it, it was in someone's lucky bag last year and I bought it off of them. I bought it I think at the end of summer, and it's the Monochromance palette from Hindash. Now, this is a very polarizing palette. A lot of people who tried it didn't like it, but it works well for me. And I think what happened to a lot of people who didn't want to buy the first one because it wasn't colorful enough, bought this, and then they were like, that is not how I like color to work, but this is exactly how I like colors to work. They look like watercolors. You can build them up to full opacity, but I don't really think they're designed for that, but you can get them to look like they do in the pan. It just like takes a little bit of work. And I love the quality of these. I don't love a super pigmented eyeshadow anymore. I like an eyeshadow that blends. Not blends away. These show up. They work in light layers, which is how a lot of makeup artists apply most of the makeup. So it makes a lot of sense for me. Not only that, one of my subscribers told me to try contouring with these shades. I think specifically this one. If I do powder contour, that's what I do now. Great tip. The original Beautoxy palette has a gray shade in it, which I've also used for contour before. What I really enjoyed about this palette, I would use these mattes up here to kind of like define the eye. And then depending on what eyeshadow shade I was putting on my lid, I would use some of these shades and blend it in with those mattes up there and kind of create like a very like neutral leaning one of these ways, and then it kind of went with whatever shade I put on my. So like if I was using like a blue shimmer, I would probably take this deep blue shade and I would go tap my brush into both of these to make like a deep blue brown. It will probably be more brown, but you'll see that hint of blue, and it would just make it the look so seamless. I really enjoy this palette. What is Hindash doing? Where is he? Someone bring him back because I need him because I like love his palettes. So I'm very excited to have this, and I'm sad that other people didn't get on with it, but I can understand and appreciate that. I have a couple matte shadows, so we'll start with those. So I have 2 of the Victoria Beckham eyewears, which is her cream eyeshadows. And these were a gift from my friend Khaki, my dear friend Khaki. And I was not someone who was very into cream eyeshadow sticks before Khaki gave me these. The top one is Trench, and then the bottom one will be Pecan. Kind of like what I do with the Hindash palette, I will also do with these. I will put Trench all over the lid, and then I will define the outer eye with Pecan, and they blend out to be very, very beautiful. And then they stay put. And for someone who has oily eyelids, for a cream shadow to stay where it was started, that's a big deal. It does not happen often, and this formula does it. And it's the first cream eyeshadow formula that I put on my eyes. Like, I used to wear MAC paint pots all the time as an eyeshadow base, and they would still crease on me. I sometimes will use Trench just as an eyeshadow base all by itself. They give you just enough time to blend them out. You don't have to rush. You can put some on both eyes and then blend them. I wouldn't do that just to give yourself, to be safe, depending on your technique and your skill level. I wouldn't recommend that. I put Trench all over both eyes, and then I will blend that out, and then I will do Pecan one eye at a time. And, if you ever buy these, you'll learn your methodology, what will work best for you. But yeah, these have come in handy. Like, they've made me such more of a boring eyeshadow wearer because I'm like, well, that's so easy. That's so easy. You just go, it's over. Then you take a shiny shade and you go, I mean, can anything be better than that? No. I have a ton of shimmery things to show you. Let's start with what you probably haven't seen too much on my channel because things have happened. Around my birthday, I bought the Zebra Chantecaille Luminescent eye shade, and I really, really love it. It's this beautiful rose gold. It has beautiful shimmer in it. And I know a lot of people on YouTube have really hyped these up over the years. Never really crossed my radar until my friend Stephanie who's also known as the Style Stumbler. She did a video where she swatched all of these and kind of just in a store swatched all of them. And someone loaned her their eyeshadows for her to test on her eyes, but she went to a store to swatch all of them and like took beautiful outside blurry footage. And I was like, is that what they look like? Because I didn't know that they looked like that. Because I just assumed that because they were Chantecaille eyeshadows that they weren't going to be like that exciting. But I was wrong. So I saw all of them in store and I thought Zebra was the shade for me. And I really do preach on my channel that if you buy the right shade of something, you normally probably wouldn't want to buy other shades of it because they're not going to be as special as that one shade that you got right. And while I like Zebra, I'm not sure that I got it right. So I caught wind that the luminescent eye shades were 40% off on Flip from my friend Andromeda. They were like, just so you know. And this was like Black Friday. And I was like, I'm not going to buy anything. And then I bought two because they were 40% off. Now, they didn't actually have the shade that I really wanted, which is the shade Rhino, which is like a gray shade. But Elephant, what's different is Zebra has some beautiful shimmer in it, but Elephant and the other shade I'm about to show you have so much more sparkle in them. Now, these are really expensive, and by no means am I telling you that you personally need a eyeshadow this expensive, because like I'm sure you're looking at these and going, Tom, what are you talking about? I think I might also turn off the lights and show you what the sparkle looks like. Sometimes when you get like direct light coming from one angle and not from all angles, you can really see the sparkles. But like even on my finger, like look at that's left, like that. Ooh. And I did wear this shade in one video and I was wearing glasses, but all of you were like, that eye makeup under your glasses, I'm sorry to tell you that it was Elephant. And then I also bought Pangolin, and again, very sparkly. And this one has a much sheerer base. It's not exactly a topper, and it's this dusty lilac shade, which I've been so into like purple and lavenders and lilacs recently. Look at that. But can you see how these two down here just have a lot more sparkle to them? And obviously that doesn't look sheer at all, but I've put it on my eyes and it reads really sheer on the eyes. I'm going to I hope that like a little bit of blurry effect showed you how sparkly they are. What I've learned in 4K is that because it's so high definition, sparkles don't like sparkle as much. So you kind of have to get them out of focus to like really see the sparkles. But like they sparkle in real life a lot better than they sparkle in 4K. And I don't know what that is because you think you'd get a realistic expectation of what the sparkle might look like in real life. But I really love these, and I still don't have the shade I really want, which is the shade Rhino. And funny story, I went to buy Rhino today because I got a notification that Chantecaille was doing 25% off the day I'm recording this. I accidentally bought Elephant again, and I tried to reach out to them to be like, can we make it Rhino? And no one has gotten back to me, and it is 2 days before Christmas, so I'm not sure anyone's gonna get back to me. I hope they do because I don't want to have to ship it back. I'm really bad at that. I don't know how the rules work over at Chantecaille. Chantecaille, you can message them on ShopMy. They don't do gifting, but I might message them and be like, can you just fix my uh-oh? Because I bought 3 of them, Chantecaille. Give me the last one. Give me the last one. You all have to make the decision whether or not you're going to buy a $54 eyeshadow. Chantecaille ran a lot more sales this year than they have before, so maybe you can get it 25 up to 40% off. Keep your eyes open. I don't post about sales on my community tab. That's not in the nature of what I do here. I don't really share things on Instagram. The only thing I shared was whenever the Makeup by Mario got back in stock this year, but like I try really hard not to post about sales. I know that some of you are very interested in sales, but I'm not here trying to get you to buy things because that's not what I want from you. But if you are looking for the absolute most luxurious single shadow experience, I think Chantecaille provides a very good version of that. But another very expensive single eyeshadow that I fell in love with this year, and this one was sent to me in PR, so again, keep that in mind, is from Surratt, and it is their Soufflé eyeshadow. And I pulled out the shade Pluie Mauve, because in my opinion, that's the star of the show. It is the one, she's the only one. That's the girl, that's who I love. That's the love of my life, and the love of my life, it is Pluie Mauve. It is this weird, bouncy formula, and it's really interesting because that's one layer of a swatch. We're gonna let that dry for a second, and then we'll do a layer, we'll build it up a bit, but this is a purple that has like a green shimmer into it. It's a very interesting color, and that's what I love about it, but the formula is also super interesting, and if I would buy this. I would buy this one of this. I have Nuage d'Argent, which is really cool. And if that's like more where you're at with color, then that one's really great too. So there's two. And then also you can see on my finger again, this has a ton of sparkle in it. And you can apply it with a brush or your finger. And that's very, very fun. Whenever they emailed me about this, I was like, that is not going to stay on my eyes. Surprise, surprise. Nothing on my eyes, bare eyelids. I put it on my eyes and it didn't start breaking down in it for 4 hours. Again, I have very oily eyelids. But if I do some other eyeshadows, like if I put powders down first, if I put on eyeshadow primer and then put powders down, like to do the outsides, and then I just slap that on the lid, it lasts a very long time. Like certainly a night out on the town. And there's 3 layers. It's gorgeous. It's such a weird formula, and I don't even know how they did it and made it work so well. A lot of times when it comes to like water-based anything, means it's probably gonna wash off with water. Kaki talks about a couple of eyeshadows that came out this year that were water-based, and like she literally would lick her finger and then touch her eye. And when you do that with this formula, it doesn't move. You might pick up a little bit of shimmer, but that pigment is still there. It's really cool. This is really expensive too. And Surratt has a lot of sales. I also have a promo code with Surratt, which I guess I could have said earlier. Again, me, this economy, this world we're living in, me to say a promo code. If you ever want to shop from Surratt, I do have a promo code. It's 15% off. It's affiliated, so I do save money for your purchase. Just so you know, Surratt's a brand that they have the 15% off codes. A bunch of people have them, so if you don't want to use mine, you can use anyone else's. But also, they do a couple sales throughout the year where you can get like 25 to 30% off. So if you really shop smart, you could get this on a deal if you're interested in that. I know a lot of people aren't into single eyeshadows unless it comes to indie brands, but I'm just saying the Surratt Soufflé eyeshadows are really cool. And then I have some indie shadows. I tried Fractal Freesia at the very end of last year from Phytosurgeons, and I fell in love with this. This is a very, very sheer like eyeshadow topper. It has such a slight base to it, but really the star of the show is all the sparkles. I will do the low light again with the out of focus so you can really see the sparkles, because that just kind of looks like a highlighter, what I can see in the frame, but I need you to see the sparkles because it's so gorgeous. Famously, Phytosurgeon sparkles are a little hard to catch on camera. I was like, I'm able to do it whenever I'm making shorts, but like every time I swatch them on camera, it's like hard to catch them. I bought this at the end of last year, and so I didn't feel comfortable talking about it, but I really have fallen in love with this formula, and so much so that I bought 2 other shades. But they also sent me 2 for my birthday, and I also really like these shades. Lunar Lightwave. And a lot of people want to see Lunar Lightwave swatched next to Fractal Freesia, so I'm going to do that for you. Lunar Lightwave has a stronger base to it, and it's like a peachy base, where Fractal Freesia, well, I feel like it kind of can read warm or cool. There's also like some blue shimmer. They're very nuanced for what they are, even though it's like what I show it to you, you're like, yeah, it's just 2 lines of shimmer. And yeah, it is. Kind of like with what I've learned about the Victoria Beckham shadows. I reviewed Phytosurgeons at the beginning of 2022, and I didn't buy any of their eyeshadows. Fractal Freesia I don't think existed at that time, but I didn't buy the eyeshadows because I just didn't, they weren't, 1, I wasn't into single eyeshadows at the time, and then 2, I thought that they would be really bad on my eyelids because my history with shimmer creams is that they just kind of disappear on my oily eyelids. Now, unlike the Surratt, these work better with a base and they really last all day, but they don't last as long as the Surratt does without anything on my eyelids. And then I also have Crystal Constellation. So Lunar Lightwave, Crystal Constellation, and then Fractal Freesia's on top. And I'm gonna do what I did again. In my opinion, Fractal Freesia is the sparkliest, and then I would say the next sparkliest would be Lunar Lightwave, and then Crystal Constellation is still very sparkly, but it's just not as sparkly as the other 2. So I hope that anyone was trying to see the nuances in them. Like Fractal Freesia I think is a little more universal as far as like if you only wanted one, and then I would say that Lunar Lightwave with that peachy base kind of, and I don't know, I use them both as toppers, even though that Lunar Lightwave has a little bit of a base to it. I'm not really good at describing color differences, especially that, but if you ask Jason, he'll tell you. And he posts, I think it's on one of the highlights on their Instagram. You can check their Instagram to get into the nitty gritty of the differences between those shades. They are very different when you see them in real life, But I also understand why when you look at them online and you look at them on people, you're kind of like, what is the difference? But I think Lunar Lightwave has also some blue flecks in it where Fractal Freesia doesn't have any kind of like off-kilter shimmer shades in it. I need to get through 2 more and then I need to pause because my camera's going to overheat and come back and film more. Okay, this is something that I tried in my Victoria Beckham brand review, and if you know, you know, and if you're smart, you know, and you should just know because you're smart and you know. But it's mink. It's the Lid Luster in mink, and I'm so glad I bought this one whenever I did my brand review. It has a warm base, and then it has like this shimmer top, and there are like large chunks of shimmer in there, and they're so beautiful. It makes your eye look like a disco ball. It's so gorgeous. Now there is like, I think, a silver one that would probably make your eye look more like a disco ball. But like, there's so much shimmer in these. Again, the 4K of it all makes it look like there's no shimmer in them, but they're so sparkly. And that's just what my dreams are made of. I love that. I love something that is a little bit weird. Like sometimes in these luxury brands, you get like these shades and you're like, what is going on there? Like with the blushes, it's like, what is going on with mink? I feel like we saw a lot of these taupes with these warm bases and then these cooler toned like shifts on top. It's very pretty. I went with warm blushes. I went with cool blushes. It is just my favorite eyeshadow shade. And it is my favorite eyeshadow shade. I know I just did that video where I was like, this is the ones I would keep, but it's not a versatile shade. It is what it is. It's a nighttime eyeshadow. It really is. Look at all the sparkle on my hands. Okay, and this is like my only, well, it's my only indie single eyeshadow shade. And if you were here throughout the year, you know about it. And if you aren't, I'm happy to tell you. This year, my friend Riley, who is also known as Seeking Shifts here on YouTube and on Instagram, did a collaboration with Shine by SD. And I bought 5 of the eyeshadows from that collection. And I was for sure that Nacre would be my favorite. And then this eyeshadow, of all the eyeshadows I bought, and I'm not even sure why I bought this one because this is not something I would usually go for, but Ice Blink in close up. And Ice Blink is this blue shimmer topper that has a bunch of nuance to it. Like, I think whenever Riley and I were talking about it, she's like, the reason you probably like it is there's some like orange in there. But Ice Blink is like absolutely one of the sparkliest shades that I own. It's so stunning. I just was reaching for it all of the time. The thing is, I feel like I got a lot of eyeshadows on the last half of the year, and I think that's what happened. It's just like, I was trying a bunch of new eyeshadows. But I have worn this a couple times relatively recently, and like, I took it to Vegas with me. It's a special shade of eyeshadow, and I think you can still buy this. I think they still have the collab up, and I think it's 100% worth it. I'm just really proud of Riley. Her collection was really gorgeous. I love all those other eyeshadow shades, but Ice Blink really stole my heart. It's just beautiful. The Victoria Beckham eyeliners, you know, some people love them, some people hate them. I love them. They are the best eyeliners I've ever tried for me and what I want eyeliner to do. Before this, I felt like eyeliner was such a thing that I was very fussy, and what these have done have made them very unfussy. They give you plenty of time to smudge them out, which is a look that I've been very much enjoying recently, but whenever they set, they do really well in my waterline. I have 3 shades, but 2 I'd like to talk about. The shade Ash, which there's so much sparkle on my hand, you're just gonna have to ignore it. And I also have the shade Cocoa. So Ash is on top and Cocoa's on the bottom. And Ash is a beautiful charcoal gray, and then Cocoa is a beautiful brown. It's a little bit warm leaning, that brown, but it's not so warm that you couldn't use it with a cool tone look, which I've done many, many times. The best part about them is how glidey they are. They apply pigment immediately when you make contact with the skin. They don't need warmed up at all, which is the dream for me. I just do not accept tugging on my eyelids. It's uncomfortable. I hate it. Now, they do have a smudger on the back, which was very useful to me for a while, but then I got a brush that I use as a smudger instead because it, again, doesn't tug as much on my eyelids. I'm not even concerned about my eyelids getting damaged from it or like increasing the capacity for them to look aged or like, you know, do anything bad to them. It's just uncomfortable. And also if you're worried about those other things, like stretching your eyes out and doing like pulling your skin like that isn't good for it, you know? I'm not judging anyone who, you know, does like, you know, tugs out for eyeliner or whatever. I used to do it, but I don't do it anymore because I just like, who cares? Who cares? But I really, really love these eyeliners and I wouldn't trade them for the world. But once they're set, they're good to go. They're just a perfect formula for me in my mind. I do my makeup in a weird order, but I do want to talk about a setting spray. And this is actually really, really new to my makeup collection. I bought it when I was in Vegas because I was going out all night, every night when I was in Vegas. And I didn't intend to, but it's what happened. It wasn't hot in Vegas when I was there because it was December. It was like in the 60s during the day and it got pretty cold at night. Not so cold that I felt like I needed a coat, but some other people felt like they needed a coat. My friend Jenny works at MAC, and whenever I was at the MAC store visiting my friend Jenny when I was in Vegas, I was like, is this any good? And it is the MAC Fix Plus Stayover. And she was like, it makes my makeup last all day. And a lot of people, she made a very good point. People are very particular about their setting sprays. Now, I use MAC Fix Plus, Original Fix Plus all of the time. Almost every time I do my makeup, I'm using MAC Fix Plus. In fact, sometimes I forget to tell people that I've used it in my, like, you know, when I do my description box, like what's on my face. I forget it because it's just like, it's such a natural part. This made my makeup stay on my face all throughout Vegas. And I really like it. It's not something I'm going to use all the time, which I'm really happy that I bought the mini of it. Like this will be more than enough because most of the time, day to day, I don't need something like this. It didn't make my skin feel tight or anything. And it has like the same smell as the regular Fix Plus, which I'm surprised they were able to do, but it worked really well. Now, I didn't do like any kind of like rubbing my hand on my face kind of test, but like being out, someone with oily skin, my mascara wasn't transferring and I was wearing a mascara that sometimes transfers up. Like it really held all of my makeup in place. It did a fantastic job. If you're looking for a stay all day kind of setting spray and you haven't tried this, it's really good. This isn't something that I try a lot of, by the way, so I take with a grain of salt because this is not something that I'm always looking for. And then for mascara, I just got this mascara again, and it was something that was originally sent to me in PR, but I have now purchased, and it is the Surratt Releve mascara. This is a tubing formula, and it has fibers in it. It's a little bit strange. And the wand is super thin and I really like it. Now, whenever I first tried this, when I did my Surratt brand review, the first couple times I tried it, I was like, it's fine. Like it's pretty and it's fine. It's one of those things that over time, the more I used it, I was like, oh my God, it looks really good. And when I can be fucked to do like an Instagram post and I do like close-ups of my eyes, this mascara is the one that looks the best on my eyelashes. In fact, it's the only mascara that I've ever worn in those close-up shots that people have asked me what mascara I'm wearing, and it is the Releve mascara. So I purchased this one, but I have been sent it in PR before. But I think me buying it again is a testament to how good I think this is. Like, you know, I don't get to try the most free stuff, but, you know, one of the benefits of being at the size I am is that sometimes I get PR and I get to try things. And I think a real testament to someone finishing something up and buying it again after they've gotten it in PR is like they really, really like it. So I'm just letting you know I really, really like it. And I've been talking for months about how I want to get back to this. And I'm so happy. I opened up today, cracked it today, put it on my eyelashes. My YSL Lash Clash, it's gone. She's gone. She's got the boot. And we're on to better things. I still love the Lash Clash though. I just said that recently. Like the Lash Clash is really, really good. But more into that. Are you ready to talk about lip products? I mean, like, you already know where we're headed. But let's talk about a lip liner I tried for the first time this year. This is the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil, and I have the shade Endless Cacao. And it is a very, very cool toned brown. On my hand, you see the brown. I feel like it looks much more gray on the lips, and that might be to do with the pigment of my lips that makes it look more gray. This is really changed the game for me in lip liner, and it's the color that is the thing. It's a great lip liner formula, and they make a bunch of really, really nice shades, and I would love to try more, but I feel like I got it right, you know? And it's one of those situations, unlike the Chantecaille eyeshadows, if I probably bought another shade, I probably wouldn't like it as much as I like Endless Cacao. So I'm going to keep holding on to it. But putting this down before putting on like a cool toned lip gloss, it's really, really great. It lasts a really, really long time. It's perfect. And I do prefer a sharpened liner when it comes to eyeliners or lip pencils. So I really like this. Now, a bonus of it is that it could be used as an eyeliner and a lip liner. My suggestion to you, unless you're someone who's really good at sanitizing things, or you bother to sanitize things at all, if you put it on your lips, I wouldn't put it on your eye. I just wouldn't do that. If you've only used it as your eye and you want to make it a lip liner and then you want to continue to use it as lip liner, I think that's a little bit more okay. But from lip to the eye, I wouldn't, I wouldn't. I have 2 lip formulas to talk about. Let's talk about the more surprising one first. And I don't think it's going to be surprising if you've watched my channel, but it was surprising to me. So My Friend Andromeda, I believe they get PR from About Face. And sometimes they're kind enough to send some of the stuff that they don't want to me. And they sent me 2 of the Cherry Pick lip color butters from About Face. I think this is my only drugstore product. And I have the shades Peach Punisher and Nashi Pear. And this is just a gorgeous lip formula. And it really shocked me. This is Peach Punisher and this is Nashi Pear. I wear Nashi Pear a lot more, but I've worn Peach Punisher a little more. I've been wearing a lot more cool tones recently. So like both of these lip colors are a little bit tough when it comes when you're like wearing a lot of cool toned eyeshadows and cheek products. And one thing I will say is I hope that they release more like neutrals, like plays on neutrals, like nudes of all skin tones, and like do cool tones and warm tones. I think that'd be really great. Like these are a really beautiful lip formula. They're really comfortable on the lip. They do a really good job sticking around on the lips, and they feel very nourishing. They're a great lip product if you haven't been taking care of your lips, but you're like, I want to put a little color on. They're like very forgiving in that way. The only downside to them, and this is the only downside to them, I think, is that they smell. They're very smelly. They smell like cherry candy, and it's a lot. And at first I was repulsed by it. I've gotten used to it, but if you're very, very sensitive to scent, I would say that they're a pass. But if you can get past it, that beautiful vinyl lip, and like they wear off really beautifully too, because they're not like something that's like the most long lasting. They're not like gonna last you all day, but they're like really, really gorgeous lip products. I hope to see them release more shades because I would buy some more shades in a heartbeat. And also something to be aware of when it comes, because we're also talking about another formula, you can only click it up like 1 click at a time. If you click it up more than you need, and then it gets really goopy and messy. So just like do 1 or 2 clicks and then put it on your lips. That's my suggestion if you ever try it and you aren't familiar with these kind of like very soft lip gloss sticks. Speaking of very soft lip gloss sticks, this year was the year of the lip gloss stick. And I was gifted a lip gloss stick by Khaki. It was the YSL Candy Glaze. And she gifted me the shade Scenic Brown, which is the shade 14. One difference about this, as to many of this type of lip product, is that you can actually wind the candy glazes back down. Scenic Brown is this beautiful brown. It's the best brown. Best boy, best brown. And then I also pulled out the clear one because these are absolutely my favorite 2 shades. They're comfortable. They last pretty well. They wear off beautifully if you're wearing a colored one. They're really nourishing on the lips. They really do it for me. And I hate to say that because it's one of few products, kind of like the Chantecaille shadows, that make me go against some of the base rules I have, where it's like, this product is really, really, really good in my brain. Now, at the influencer trip, this product came up a lot. Not everyone loves it, so keep that in mind. But if you like a shiny lip, this has been, for me, like the creme de la creme. About Face is a really great option, but unfortunately they don't have like the nuanced shades that YSL has. The clear one's really good, but Scenic Brown is really where it's at. Scenic Brown is the one I will always have, and I probably will always have a clear one. I have 2 other shades that I don't like as much. I do highly recommend you be very picky about the shades that you pick, which I recommend with any product. But when it comes to this, I think like, if you end up really liking it, you'll probably be someone who's like, I always want a clear, and then my favorite shade of it. So mine's like this and Scenic Brown. And I'm not 100% sure that if Khaki didn't nail it with this shade, that I would have been head over heels for it. Like, obviously I still would have liked the formula, but I think it was this brown shade, because when I came back from my trip, I started wearing this in videos without really talking about it. A lot of people commented on those videos, like, whatever's on your lip. Now, I do get comments about what's on my lips a lot, because I think my lips are just very prominent features on my face. And since you can't look at my eyebrows, I guess you're looking at my lips. But someone asked me for my like lip routine, and everyone in the comments were like, no, that's just Tom's lips, and it is just my lips. So I would be a great lip model for brands, except I can't be fussed to do a good lip application to do close-up lip swatches. Like Andromeda does really great lip swatches. I mean, there's a lot of people who do really great lip swatches, but if I did a lip swatch of a product and I really zoomed you in on my lips, you'd be like, that's not lines. That's not how lines work. And I feel like you're 100% right. My favorite lip product I think I've ever tried. I don't often have an affinity for lip products. I have affinity for lip colors, but lip formulas I don't always love. And this is one of those things where it's like, this one's a lip formula and shade that's really great for me, but I also just love the formula too. And like, I will always think about it. I try not to baby them because I really love them so much, but they seem to be pretty easy to go through. I haven't finished one yet, but I think I'm close on both of these ones because I just used this one as a lip balm. And oh my God, can we get into this is the limited edition packaging. Make this the packaging. YSL, are you listening? It should just be in this packaging. Don't make it limited edition because a lot of people don't like this packaging. I like this packaging, by the way. It's heavy, it's luxe, but it's also like people don't like their fingerprints getting all on it. But it's matte white. It's like, wearing that. It's really pretty. That's it for makeup. Let's move on to some makeup adjacent things and then we'll move on to skincare. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean makeup adjacent things? It'll make sense in a second. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is from Adept Cosmetics, and it is their Infinity Stack Eyeshadow Magnetic Palettes. Now, I've owned big eyeshadow palettes from Adept, which are also really nice, but I have been for a couple of years trying to figure out how to make my singles collection, my like single magnetic eyeshadow collection, become a place in my mind. And when I see it, like, how can I make it me use them more? Because something that often happens is that I have them in the big palettes because I have a lot and I forget about them because I can't put those big palettes in my eyeshadow drawer. And what this has done has really, really helped me. And I'm not done transitioning. I have 4 of them so far, but I'm going to buy more because this has been a great solution. So they are magnetic. They are like stuck to each other right now. If you're a working makeup artist, this would probably be a really good feature for you. I don't need them to be magnetized to each other, but it is, a thing that they do. So they do kind of stick together pretty well when they're in my drawer because I store my eyeshadow palettes vertically like this. And another added benefit is, for me, because I'm using this as storage, these are not eyeshadow palettes that I would use to like build my own palette. So like there's no mirror. I don't need it to have a mirror. I like that this is clear because I can see all the eyeshadows in it without having to open it. And a lot of my other magnetic eyeshadow palettes, all of my other magnetic eyeshadow palettes have an opaque top. I can't see through them. So I don't even know what's in there unless I remember in my brain or I label them. And guess what? Your girl is not over here labeling things. If you were here whenever I tried to use my Natasha Denona palettes and then put the shades back, I never knew where those shades went. I was guessing. I was Googling photos of those eyeshadow palettes. Yeah, so I'm not great at that. But what I can do is look in here and be like, oh, that's the shade I've been thinking of. Or, oh, I would really like to use this shade down here. And I really, really like it. And what's really great is that it's kind of like, these are some of my Clionadh shades. Like this is a full palette of Clionadh shades. I can see right in there which Clionadh shades are in there. Now, I don't know all the names of the Clionadh shades, by the way. It's just, I can see them all. And then like some Natasha Denona shimmers. You know, like everything about this is just going to be such a better way for me to think about my singles. And they are right next to my regular eyeshadow palettes. So when I open up my eyeshadow drawer, I could be like, oh, let me use one of these singles that I haven't used in a really long time as my shimmer shade, or let me use some of these mattes I haven't used in a really long time that aren't in palettes. So I'm really excited to convert all of my singles into here. I buy one whenever I have the money to, like, you know, I don't want to spend, because these are not inexpensive. They're $25 a piece. And that's not super expensive, and I think they're worth $25, but I just like every paycheck I buy one. If I have some excess money, I'll buy 2, you know, like that'll be what I do every paycheck until I have enough to fit all of my singles in here. And I don't plan on buying additional ones. I just want enough to hold what I already have. And so I cleared out one of my big magnetic palettes and I cleared out some other palettes. It's been really, really great. So if you were looking for a storage system for your singles and you want them to fit in with your drawer, I store my eyeshadow palettes in the bottom drawer of an Alex drawer. And like I said, I store them vertically and my drawer will shut with them like that. It's just, it feels really good to have a solution for it because I feel like I was fighting for a really long time. If you have accessibility issues, I think this is actually a really good thing. So This is like there's like a crescent moon and you just push on it. And there's a lot of ways that you can grip this to be able to like pull this open. You can just do it with one finger or like a knuckle, depending on what your dexterity is. So I find these actually like really easy to open. They're a little bit slippery. I will say that as I've been holding them, I'm like, they're a little bit slippery. So, but I don't know if you have, maybe if you have like a lot of grip issues, that might be an issue for you, but I find them very easy to work with. I love these. I really like these quite a bit. The next thing I would like to tell you about is something that was gifted to us at the Creator and Friends event from Allie Glines. I don't travel too much, but this is the most gorgeous thing. It's Allie Glines' makeup bag. I don't know how much these cost, but it is so, so nice. And it's so, so nice. I moved all of my makeup into this for my travel on the way home because it was nicer than what I took. I'll have to look into how this comes, but there's also interior bits. And I don't know if you have to buy them all separately or if they all come as one if you buy this big one, but this holds its shape very well. Like this is a hard cover. The sides are a little bit softer, but like they will hold up too. And then when you open it up, I don't think these come with it, because this one's branded with the lipstick, the Ravi Beauty. But you open it up, you have a couple of different compartments in here. Like you obviously have the top flap. Then you have this, which is like holds your makeup brushes, which is really, really great. And I moved all my brushes into there. And then these within of themselves kind of hold their shape really well. And they fit in there like a puzzle. It's really awesome. Whenever I saw them sitting on the table at the Creator and Friends event, I like wasn't really sure what they were. And I thought maybe they found some like cute things at Five Below, but they weren't going to be anything serious because they did tell us to save room, but I wasn't expecting to have this much room. And all of the PR we got from all of the other brands was also inside of here. This is really, really great. If you are someone who even like does driving travel, to have all your makeup in something like this is really great. You can also take it as like a carry-on or something if you really wanted to. I took a really big suitcase, so I was able to put this inside of my suitcase and it made it very, very well. It's a gorgeous, stunning makeup bag. I'm very grateful for this. This is one of those things that would make a great gift to a makeup lover too, if you have someone else in your life who's a makeup lover. This is one of those things that I never would have bought myself, but I'm very happy that I got gifted it. And now that I have it, I think it's 100% worth the money. I don't know, again, I don't know how much this is, but it's really, really, really beautiful. I probably have already put it on a lower third, but if I didn't, it should be there now. And that's how much it costs. So I'll chime in if I don't think it's worth it after I look up the cost of it. But I love this. And even if I don't know, I don't want to not have it now that I have it. I know Teresa from Teresa's Dead is a makeup bag person. I don't want to explore any others because I think this is just divine. Allie Glines, she really did that. I'm going to take you to the shower real quick, meaning visually, not visually, mentally. So close your eyes. There's steam. You're in the shower. So this was gifted to me by the brand Self-Made. For full disclosure, I guess this doesn't really matter, or maybe it does, but my friend Elle, who's Elle Essentially on Instagram, I believe she runs their social media, and maybe she was the one who got me the hookup with some of their products. They sent me a package a little bit earlier. It's a very curious brand. It's a lot about self-care, but they have some skincare products, and this is a body care product they sent to me. This is the True Grit Resilience Scrub, and it's for the scalp and body. This is more about the experience of using it. I don't know that it's the best body scrub that I've ever used, but I like it. But the thing about it I love is this smells like aromatherapy. And after a stressful day, I use it when I'm the most stressed out. This scent really takes me, and like, I don't know if maybe not everyone is privileged enough to have massages regularly enough to be like, it smells like muscle relaxing stuff at a spa. Not like Biofreeze. No, it smells like essential oils that like relax your body, because like some of the essential oil scents are supposed to do certain things. And it smells like the massage oil that I used to pick out whenever I would go get massages for aromatherapy. It's so good. The product is really great. I don't know what they use as the scrubs. And I would say it's a pretty gentle exfoliating scrub. So if you wanted a body scrub, but you don't like how gritty some of them are, you might like this one, because I didn't find this like too gritty. But I will take an African exfoliating net on my whole body, and that's like sandpaper. So I will do that too. And you know what I want to try, now that we're talking about this kind of thing? I want to try the one that that Khaki always talks about and Rachel always talks about, Rachel Ellen Rose always talks about, I would try the one that they always talk about. I'm going to talk about my favorite hair thing. I need you to take this with a grain of salt because you very likely have long hair and I have this hair. So just keep that in mind. But I was on the hunt for a new shampoo and I don't wash my hair very often. I wash my hair like once a month. So my shampoo is not like super important to me. So again, take this with a grain of salt. I tried the JVN Embodying Daily Volumizing Shampoo and I really like this. I was using one from Way and I thought it was just fine, but I love texture in my hair. And I don't need the texturizing really because my hair is thin, which I think a lot of people who have like thin hair will use like texture products to make their hair feel more voluminous. I use this because I like that it leaves some grit in my hair to like make, when I put my hands in my hair and I go like this, it like holds the shape a little bit. It's really great. This comes in like aluminum or something. I love that. Like, I love that in the shower. Like, it just feels really durable. Like, if I knock it off, it's not gonna break. Like, if it were glass, which like a lot of luxury hair stuff comes in glass, and it's like, I'm in the shower. Like, you're gonna have to like make something a little more grippy. And so I really have been enjoying that. There's not like a smell to it or anything. I just like I like the formula of it. But if you're looking for like, I don't know that there's like like deep cleans the hair, which I think is the point of it being a daily shampoo. It's like you can use it every day, but it doesn't really dry out the hair. Again, take my hair recommendation with a grain of salt. My hair is so short that if I damage it or something, it's going to get cut off in a couple of weeks anyway. Like, my hair is like very low maintenance. So buyer beware. Like, I feel like I just can't confidently recommend a shampoo to people who very likely have like much longer hair than I do. But if you have short hair and you're looking for texture, then try that one. One last like kind of in the shower thing. This isn't really about the brand, but I'll tell you the brand I purchased from. I used to use like Dollar Shave Club 5-blade razors on my skin, and it actually like really irritated my like under here. Like, it never really irritated like my face because I do kind of shave down here to keep this shape, and then I also shave up my neck. Now, it's still not perfect, and we'll talk about that in a second. I still think I'm not done with this journey, but I switched to a safety razor, and this is from the brand, oh no, I think it's called Henson. It's a safety razor, so there's like one blade and then there are two sides, and so they say whenever you're storing it, you shouldn't have it fully tightened, but you tighten it like this, and then you're able to use the razor. What's really great about these is they're pretty sustainable. This one's like a fancy one. It has a pretty high upfront cost. I believe this razor, like I don't know what the razor holder was like $70, but it's $10 for 100 razors. And you don't even have to buy your razors from them. You can buy any brand of razors. So if you can find them cheaper, go for it. And it has been so much gentler on my skin. So you can definitely still see some redness here, but it used to be so inflamed all the time. Like, my neck would be itchy, and this has resolved some of it. Now, I am still learning with this, but I can already tell my skin is much less irritated. I've really gone on with it. I still think I need something else to really fully get it clear, but like, I know I'm on the right journey when I have used this. It's been really, really great. I think I need to change like my shave cream. The one person recommended this razor burn oil that I'm gonna try. So I'll try that and report back, but it's been nice to have this and try this. And you don't have to buy from this brand, but I would suggest if you get a lot of skin irritation to give the single blade razor, give the safety razor a try. And then I have two skincare products. And the first one I'm going to talk about, I'm not sure if I actually started using it this year, but I think I used it all this year if I didn't start using it this year. But I think I might have bought this also for the first time in December of last year, and it's the Verdant Force Field from Phytosurgeons. Now, this particular bottle was sent to me in PR, but I have purchased 3 before they started sending me some PR, and this is the best. It's just the best. I don't know. I just like everyone who tries it loves it. Like, I'm just gonna say that. It's a kind of like it's actually a pretty thin moisturizer, but it's effective. Like, it's so incredibly effective. It is just beautiful. Now, I do prefer something thicker than this for the evening, but for a daytime moisturizer, I mean, my hands are shiny from a million other things, but It melts into the skin so beautifully. It never feels like it's sitting on your skin, but then your skin's like good to go. And it helps like reduce redness, and because it has a little bit of like, it's not like a green tint, but the product itself is green, and it has aloe. Aloe is like the first ingredient. So it's just a very like nourishing kind of face product. Oh man, it's so good. Phytosurgeons, I mean, I thought Victoria Beckham really took over this, but Phytosurgeons, Victoria Beckham and Surratt were the winners this year for me. Excellent product. And Jason, if you're watching, I'm almost out. So if you could send me another one, I'll buy it. It's fine. And I will buy it. I would gladly buy it again. But Jason? And then this last skincare product I'm going to tell you about. Shocker. I was not bullied into buying this, but I've been bullied into thanking people for it, if that makes sense. So I watched the dominoes fall when it came to this brand this year. I watched Khaki besmirch and belittle the brand Rhode Beauty because of Hailey Bieber being at the helm of the brand. And then I think they sent her PR, and then she shut right on up and said, actually, this is all really good. But what I heard as Khaki talked about it, that the star of the show is the glazing milk. And then that was reaffirmed by Natalie, who's my skintress on Instagram. I bought the Rhode glazing milk. This is my second bottle of this. This has really changed my skincare game, and I use it as a toner. I don't even know that I'm using it right, but I guess if I'm not using it right and there's a better way to use it, cool. But I've been getting great results with it. So it's like a glazing milk. I think it's supposed to be after you wash your face, you use this. It helps keep in the moisture. You know, sometimes if you wash your face and you wait too long to put on moisturizer, like your skin will dry out. Like you're supposed to like still apply moisturizer when your skin's wet, like that whole shebang. This gives my skin glass skin every time I use it. Like, and my skin feels so plump and moisturized. I did not take this with me to the desert. That was a mistake. My makeup doesn't apply the same if I don't use this in my skincare regimen, because it just makes my skin so juicy, so juicy and plump. And it's not even like overly dewy. Like it doesn't look like I know that's how it's kind of sold, right? Like it's kind of sold as like your skin's gonna be so, you're gonna be wet. And like, yeah, when I first put it on, it's like wet, but it goes into, it like just gradually melts into the skin, but doesn't feel heavy. Oh my God. I really don't know how to talk about this product because I'm not even sure what it's supposed to do. But all I know is that my skin has looked better since I started using it. And that's why I bought it again. But I do think if you're someone who has really, really dry skin, that this is going to be really, really great for you. And as an oily skinned person, I too have found it pretty helpful. So very big fan of this. What a weird product to be into. It's weird. Like the whole mechanism of it, it's like a toner, but it's not like astringent. It's not at all. It's like nourishing. Apply a generous amount into hands. Gently press onto face, neck, and décolleté. Yeah, I think it is a second step. It's great. If you can get past the fact that Hailey Bieber owns it. I'm running out of time again. I'm running out of time. I've been talking for so long. Here's like my favorite fragrance that I explored this year. And then my friend actually sent hers to me. So Elle, who I mentioned earlier, Elle Essentially on Instagram, she sent me her Guiding Water full size. And I'm sending her makeup in return. It was kind of like a trade. But I needed to finish some content with those. So I'm actually going to send it to you earlier, Elle. I've decided that I don't need to do all of that content. Elle, if you're watching, I will send it after the holidays whenever like things calm down a little bit. This is the Harmonious Guiding Water. I had a sample of this, I think either earlier this year or I had it last year, and I used that whole bottle up. Now, we're in the winter time, and I'm ready to wear this in the spring. It smells like a chilly day in the spring, and it just rained. There's a little bit of fog. That's what it smells like. It almost kind of clears the nasal passages. And I think that on the wrong person, this could smell like an old lady scent. But on me, it certainly doesn't. It's my favorite scent. It's my favorite scent for me. It's not the scent I get the most compliments on it, but it's my favorite scent to wear. And so I've been really enjoying having the full-size bottle. I can't wait for spring to come back around because I've been wearing heavier stuff as it's in the wintertime because I do like an oud. I like a leather. I like a tobacco. I like a patchouli in the winter. Not exactly all of those things isolated, but like I like that as like a very strong base note in a lot of the things that I wear in the wintertime. So this is for later. It's not for now, but bitch, it's good. This is, I think I bought this candle for the first time this year. This is a company I found on Etsy. It's called the Urban Melts Candle Company. And I don't know if they do a bunch of dupes, but they make this, and it's a dupe of like Le Labo's Santal. And it smells so good. It smells so good. This is a new one. I bought this so that the house can smell like this one, khakis here. And I don't know that it's like a perfect dupe of Santal, like Le Labo, but it is a really, really good. It smells like a hotel lobby. That, I love that kind of fragrance. And I love that as like a home fragrance. It smells expensive. It smells rich. I haven't lit this yet because Rachel Ellen Rose has been talking a lot about candle burners. Not candle burners, but candle warmers. So I bought a candle warmer. It just hasn't arrived yet. So I can place this under the candle warmer. And I guess that makes the fragrance last a lot longer as opposed to burning it and then carcinogens or whatever. I don't know. There's a whole world of candles that I don't really understand. But this is, I think this was like $34. And I think the Le Labo candles are probably like upwards of $100, if not more. I can't wait. I can't wait for that candle warmer to come because I'm excited to smell this in the whole house. A couple more things. So towards the end of the year, I've been getting a little more into jewelry. I got my other ear pierce. I only had this ear pierce at the beginning of the year. Now I have both. I've been loving wearing 2 earrings. I get a lot of compliments on these earrings specifically. These are from Bijou Jewelry. I love these earrings, and I wanted to just shout out a couple other pairs of earrings that I've really enjoyed wearing this year. This pair is from Electric Cat Shop, and it's these disco lips. I'm like so into them. They're so, so cute. I wore these at the Jessie Ware concert. They were very fun to wear. And then I also bought these. I'm not going to say what they say, but you can read. And if you can't, they say cunt. I think that's so cool. I love them. I'm still trying to get more into jewelry in the new year. I almost made a Black Friday purchase of jewelry, but then I held off. I think jewelry is something I want to see in person whenever I buy it. And I'm not trying to buy the most expensive jewelry, but this is also from the same brand who made my earrings. And I just like really love this like serpent. Very, very cool jewelry. And then the last favorite of the year is my filming corner. So if you've been here from the start of the year, you know that this background is not where we started. Like this background is really, really different. And so this is just like a little corner of my bedroom that I have like turned into a space for filming. And like in case you don't know, I film in the basement. So someone pointed out that I do have outlets high up on the ceiling. The person who owned this home before I moved in had like this, they had like their gym set up here. And so they had like TVs there so they could look at the TV while they were working out. I don't know. They like mounted everything. There's also a sound system in this room that I like never quite figured out how to work out. There's one wall that just has so many wires coming out of it. And I just covered it with photos because I was like, I don't know what to do with that. But I also wanted to shout out the paintings that are behind me. I bought 2 more. I mentioned them briefly, but I wanted to like talk about them a little bit more. So these are by an artist named Anastasia Alexandrian, and I will link her Instagram down below. She sells prints. These are like wooden planks that she has imposed her prints on. Like, I don't really know how she does it, but she does the most beautiful black and white art, and I love it. I told a story on Instagram about my relationship with this artist and how it's been like an ongoing relationship. So I bought 2 more pieces. I love them. I love my little lamp in the center. I love my little pink chairs. I love Molly in the background. I love my little nook and my little Shawn Mendes. Oh, there's a Shawn Mendes picture right here that you can't see. And there's also another Shawn Mendes picture back there, which you can't really tell that picture is Shawn Mendes, but it is Shawn Mendes. I'm so happy with how this turned out. And I've received a lot of compliments from other YouTubers that they like my background. And I like, what a huge compliment. That's really great. And that wallpaper is not put up perfectly, but I'm proud of what I was able to do. It just looks so much better. I'm just so glad that I have like a little corner of my room that's like specifically for this. That's kind of like my office where it's like once I leave this little corner of my room, it's like we're not doing that kind of thing. But also it looks great when I have company over too, right? Like it, you know, Kaki's gonna Kaki and I will likely have a coffee and sit in these chairs and bullshit, which I'm looking forward to. That wraps up the video. Thank you all so much for watching. If you do decide to purchase anything, I will have affiliate links linked down below. And if you do choose to purchase anything through those links, I will receive a small commission. However, As you know, I'm not here trying to push product to you. I just want to talk about my favorites. This wasn't to entice you to buy new things. I just wanted to do a little reflection on the year. But if you do choose to buy, that does help me out. But it's not the only way to help me out. Liking, commenting, and subscribing is a beautiful way to support my channel, and I would really appreciate it if you did any of those things. Share this with anyone that you might want to share this with. I'm going to keep this short and tight, this outro, because I've been at this for quite some time. I think this might be the last time you hear me say this, but remember to follow your hope, and you will find me. That's not the last time you'll hear me say that, but this might be the last time you hear me say friends. We're going to work on a new outro in the new year. So, bye-bye. Friends.